It had been a quiet night in Vista County Sheriff's Department. The secretary typed memo after memo, and the clang of the holding cells downstairs echoed through the dark halls. Sergeant Martinez had been admiring the stars out his office window when he saw a young man in his mid-30s run into the building. He was intrigued, of course. Not many people required the help of a police in a quaint town like this. He hadn't recognized this person from his daily patrols and hadn't seen him around town. After the stroll downstairs to check it out, he saw two officers trying to calm him down. "I can't find her! I lost her!" said the scared man between huge breaths of air. "Relax, sir. Just explain what happened and we'll take care of it." This only scared the man further. After 4 more loud moments of exhaling, he passed out and fell on the ground. The man woke up in the holding cell downstairs with a wet towel on his head an hour later. He looked as if death passed over. After some heavy breaths, he began to collect himself. He had been doing a Sudoku and waiting for him to come to, so I could question him about her. He said that he had decided to take his 4-year-old daughter to a nearby playground. His eyes were glued to her ever since the day he said he lost her in the department store. When we got there, she ran towards the slides and began to play around with the wood chips. It was cloudy when we got there. I felt a bad presence. I ain't no voodoo worshiper, but I could sense some weird feeling in my stomach. I turned around to light a smoke. I didn't want her seeing it. I've been trying to quit for a year now, but no dice. When I turned around, she was gone. Combed that playground to high heavens. "Okay, sir. I'll put out a missing persons report. Don't worry, we've got a 90% success rate in these kind of things." The next day, I decided to go looking around the playground. The school objected to it and had long been shut down, and the children of the area had been relocated to Burroughs School District. When I got there, some hooded guys were sitting in a circle and saying some weird things in Latin or something. This town had been a center of strange religion and sects because of our secluded location. Some cults find it better to be away from society. They never do much harm, just some performance downtown. I shooed them away and got my flashlight out. One of them threw me a pamphlet. I thanked him and stuck it in my pocket. After looking around this place, I deemed it a lost cause and looked here and went back to my cruiser. That night I put the pamphlet on my nightstand and went to bed. After a night's sleep, I decided for whatever reason I should read the pamphlet. It had an eerie mystique to it, probably just my imagination. But I read it, and I knew I did. And when I did, I knew I shouldn't have. I read them at the top. Vista County Church of Harris. I had investigated the Church of Harris on a case a while back involving some animal sacrifice ritual. It never had any conclusive evidence to convict a cult leader, Jonathan Harris. There have been rumors and stories about them capturing people for sacrifices under the guidance of Harris. The cult always had some satanic connection, saying the only difference between God and Satan is a name. I was raised Catholic, so I didn't get this cult stuff. After reading more, I began to think more and more that maybe this little girl wasn't just lost or kidnapped. After some careful self-protesting, I went back to the playground to find the same people there. One of them was chanting some strange words out of some big book, and a pungent smell held around the slide. I asked them a few questions about what they were doing and if they had seen a little girl. They remained silent and didn't say the smallest thing. I pushed them away as I tried to find the source of the smell. eventually seeing a small brown thing buried in the wood chips. I looked around. Only one cult member remained. He was mumbling some indistinctive words to himself when I asked him about the playground. "What are you guys doing here?" I questioned. I'm summoning the evil of the world to avenge our soul." I never understood this kind of cult speaking in this town. What with demons and spirits and stuff, but I knew that wasn't good. Just then, a huge wave of what I could call energy, not good, but dark energy. For lack of a better word, I call it dark. It pulsed throughout the vicinity of the playground, bringing me to my knees. The cultist started to yell, "He's coming!" And yes! I could hear the cries of a little girl in a huge cloud of smoke that had risen from the slide. 10 yards away from me, I looked up and could see some horrible creature holding a girl in its arms. I grabbed my pistol and aimed down the sight, knowing that I couldn't shoot with that little girl. The cult member yelled it would be no use, but the bullets couldn't harm a demon. As a last resort, I ran over to the slide, blinded with fear, and climbed up the ladder to see the dark cloud that has risen over this dark, small playground. Before I had made this act of bravery, I remember a small crucifix being held around my neck on a small chain. With one sweep, I plunged the demon in its putrid neck with the cross, sending me flying off the slide and into the wood chips. I don't remember anything after that. I woke up on a bed of splinters, looking around. The cult member was gone, the clouds were gone, no evidence of the demon remained. The only thing out of place at the playground was a small girl's coat.